Tech pops to get the show started. All right, welcome, yo, welcome to the myoinositol transpire phosphate addendum live stream show. We're going to discuss all of the comments. We're only 57 comments. This ITTP deep dive completely bombed, but we're still going to answer the comments just to get a little bit of extra content in for this YouTube channel because the videos will continue next week. So first we got to do the disclaimer because otherwise YouTube will demonetize. So here we go. All right, and we're back. So let's see if anybody's going to join in. I already have my screen shared right away and the comments loaded. J-Joff, can you let me know if you can see the overlays right here? And then we can get started. So these are all the comments, like a whopping 57 comments on this myoinositol transpire phosphate deep dive video. Unfortunately, it was not a great success, but I did do my due diligence putting in the time. So let me know if you guys could see that. I can see it. All right, let's just go right into it. I have PTSD from the methylene blue addendum live stream, so just gotta double check with you guys. All right, let's add this to the stage and then go right to the pics or to the comments. So first things first, I have to make a huge fucking apology. Did I lose monetization? No, we're good, we're good. A huge fucking apology for saying a cubic meter when I should be saying square meters. So somehow I had a total brain fart. And the entire time that I was discussing the surface area of humans, converting the animal dose to the human dose, I said cubic meters where I should be saying square meters. Yeah, and it was too much to course correct in post production. So my sincere apologies. Sometimes this happens. I was not willing to re-record the entire myoinositol transpire phosphate deep dive because one mistake that keeps happening again. We can write that off as a let's say translation error because I'm not a native speaker, obviously. Mm. So yeah, and I really needed to go on holiday to Bali because this was all recorded before Bali, and I wanted to get as many videos out the door as possible. So yeah, the calculations were correct though. Now, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. So the calculations converting, we use square meters, not cubic meters, to, convert the animal dose to the human equivalent dose and come up with some sort of dosage range. So that's all correct. I just mispronounced it. My sincere apologies. Right, all the citations are here. Where else do you find citations like this? Nowhere, right? Even in clinical trials here. Oh, holy moly. Clinical trials are listed. Parabolic Peptide says, great video and very timely. I just switched from testing diisopropylamine dichloroacetate to myoinositol tripyrophosphate oral formulation. Yes, I don't really like DADA oral formulation. I feel that the injectable version of DADA is a lot more potent. And yes, we're going to make a deep dive about DADA. Don't you worry, it's in the pipeline. But I feel that the oral formulation of myoinositol tripyrophosphate works just fine, but I haven't compared it orally versus injectable because I'm not really sure where the injectable can be bought. And I recommend it to MA that you just stick with oral formulations because the oral bioavailability seems to be just working as well. But of course, right, if the oral bioavailability is a little bit less, you get more bang for your buck by using the injectable myoinositol transpire phosphate, and you can use it at a lower dose and thus lower costs. Then that's probably the route going forward. Because with DADA, I can easily take 500 milligrams orally, but if I inject 50 milligrams, I get a more pronounced effect than 500 milligrams orally. So, yeah, it is what it is. Let's see. Skull says, I can't wait for the premiere. You never did an endurance PD tier list, but based off your videos, I think this might be your number one pick at S tier. Yes, myoinositol transpire phosphate is 100% S tier compound. Vigorous Steve approved. This is one of the best compounds that everybody's sleeping on, unfortunately. It makes a huge difference. Everybody that I recommended it to that are bodybuilders say it makes a world of difference, especially when you combine it with, the mitochondrial support stack, which also increases your energy levels. Now, if you increase your energy levels with mitochondrial support aids, obviously, your oxygen demand goes up because oxygenation needs to occur when mitochondrial function goes up. And this delivery of oxygen by increasing the oxygen affinity of hemoglobin is really a pronounced effect. So you have these guys that wanted to use myoinositol transpire phosphate before a competition because they were a little bit out of breath, and then they hold their own very composed on stage within as little as 2 weeks. So it makes a huge fucking difference. But unfortunately, it's not a very popular compound. Let's see. Pars Mosavat says, I wonder how crazy the diminishing returns are considering the insanely high dosages in studies relative to what people anecdotally say they feel. It seems people notice it on like a gram a week orally versus studies taking 10 times the dose intramuscularly. Yeah, but keep in mind, these dosages investigated intramuscularly or intravenous, well, mostly intravenous, right? Mostly Man, it's been a while since I did the research. My bad. But there were injectable routes, right? The ITPP was administered injectably, and it's mostly in the context of cancer. So the dosages are going to be a lot higher. And again, for us, we have polypharmacy in place. So we take erythropoietic compounds like testosterone, bovidone, EPO perhaps, that also increases our hematocrit, red blood cell count. And then we eat a lot of beef and we stay relatively healthy. So you can't really compare these medical dosages for people who are unhealthy and have various kinds of medical conditions, including cancer, to people who are otherwise healthy. They pay attention to the lifestyle and they take erythropoietic compounds and they eat a lot of beef, and thus their hematocrit goes up. And then a low dose goes a very long way. And you notice that during the loading phase, within 1 to 2 weeks, it really makes a pronounced difference. And then you can drop down to the maintenance phase. I mean, minocyl trispar phosphate is extremely expensive, even with a discount code, and I believe that MA has it on permanent discount of 10%. So less is more. Yeah, the least amount you can get away with for you to notice a dramatic effect. And for me, that was after the loading phase, 250 milligrams 3 times per week. But I've also heard guys say that they get away with 100 milligrams 3 times per week and that they notice all of the benefits. But you also have people that say that they don't notice anything at all, even if they go up to a gram a day. So again, the same with methylene blue or MOTS-C. Individual response is going to be all over the place. If you want to use this compound, just purchase one bag or one bottle and run it. And if you like the effects, take more. And if you don't notice anything at all, even at higher dosages, then don't purchase it. This is what I did with epicatogen, right? I ramped up the dose to 900 milligrams per day. And then even though I did notice something, it was significantly less compared to YK11 taken orally. And it increased my C-reactive protein levels to cancerous levels. So, one bottle, run the experiment, do your blood work, see if you get a beneficial effect. And if you have adverse effects and the beneficial effects, it doesn't really outweigh, then you only lost the funds for one bottle. So it's not the end of the world. This has nothing to do with minocyl trispar phosphate. Great video. Let's see, I already answered this one. It's a dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor, like Januvia, for example. Let's see. So I mentioned that minocyl trispar phosphate might make baking soda obsolete, but like Zach Dancy says, I mean, baking soda will never be fucking obsolete at $2 a box. But I remember running an experiment, and I think this is somewhere on my YouTube channel. I ran, what was it, 20 grams to 30 grams baking soda per day for like a month straight or 2 weeks straight. And then it literally turned my blood black or purple. Like I had legitimate Klingon blood. And I still can't figure out why that is. Is that from the acid-base balance or through more oxygen delivery or carbon dioxide removal, turning my blood a different color? I remember going to the clinic and they drew my blood and the nurse was like, what the hell? And I was like, what the fuck? So never again. But the stamina boost and the lactic acid removal or lactate removal and the metabolic waste removal and 30 grams baking soda per day, insane. It was also bloated as fuck because, well, 30 grams of baking soda is what? 9 grams of sodium per day. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Let's see. Zach Dancy also asks, Steve, what do I specifically look to use this for breast cancer? My girlfriend has breast cancer and I really would like to help her with the process. This looks promising and I would love to try this with her. Thank you so much for your body work. So unfortunately, I don't really know much about cancer. I've never really researched it, right? We're focusing here on performance enhancing drugs, not medical conditions that can be resolved with these kinds of medications. But if I find something in the scientific evidence that's interesting, like how to resolve fluorona long hauler syndrome or cancer in this case, then I will report it. But I can't remember reading anything specifically for breast cancer. Breast cancer is, in many cases, is estrogen positive, and there's various kinds of breast cancer. Now, what myonosyl trispyrophosphate does by increasing the oxygen delivery to metabolically active tissues, it reduces angiogenesis. It literally reduces vascular endothelial growth factor and a couple other of these angiogenesis promoting peptides that your body would otherwise produce when you're in a hypoxic state or when you have cancer. That's literally what cancer does. It increases these angiogenic peptides, and thus the cancer can literally metastasize and grow all over the body and feed on everything else. Right? Cancer is basically uncontrolled growth of a cell that went rogue. So if your girlfriend suffers from breast cancer, you could do the research, which I've indexed down below. I can't make any recommendations here. It's just something interesting that I found. And then after you do the research, maybe run that through ChatGPT, Grok, or Perplexity, and then discuss that with your doctor, because there's people who are specialized in breast cancer, and they might be able to say, well, it's worth a shot or worth a try before you consider something like, chemotherapy or radiation, which is far more invasive than myonosyl trispyrophosphate. But it could be that the oxygen delivery actually accelerates the cancer growth. Again, I'm not too familiar with cancer, so I would proceed with caution, do the research, and discuss it with the doctor first to see if they have any ideas, and otherwise present them the studies, and then so they can do the research before they make up their mind. Well, there's so many different things that are anti-cancer, but from what I understand from breast cancer, the best thing to do is, if it's estrogen positive breast cancer, is to minimize the estrogenic burden, and whether that's the use of aromatase inhibitors or selective estrogen receptor modulators, or both. Right? That's something you'll have to run past a specialist in breast cancer. Let's see. Sean Ferguson, Steve, ever thought of trying myonosyl trispyrophosphate injectable version currently being sold as a horse veterinary blend? Comes in 10 milliliter vials dosed at 200 milligrams per milliliter. We used equipoise as a veterinary drug for years before Underground Labs did it. If you were to use it, what dose would a human use? So I didn't really look into injectable versions, right? I know MA was thinking about making an injectable version, and maybe it's already on the website. I just haven't had a look. I got the oral version here, but I'm running that, testosterone YK11 experiment, and I'm not allowed to use anything else, unfortunately. But as soon as that experiment is over, then you bet your left testicle and all of your brain matter that I'll be on oral myonosyl tripyrophosphate again, and then maybe switch to injectable. And then we can make a small note, cliff note somewhere in the comment section, which one is better, right? Now, I don't mind running that experiment at all, but right now I'm in the middle of another experiment. I haven't seen that as being sold as a horse veterinary blend. The last time I took horse or camel veterinary blends from a horse or camel supply website, quote unquote, I took Pentosan Gold, and 2 injections gave me the worst post-injection pain ever. Yeah, worse than GHK copper, worse than gonorrhea, allegedly. That's not from injection. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Oh my God, I'm shooting fire out of my dick. Yeah, no, that's allegedly very unpleasurable. And injectable carnitine first couple of times is very painful, obviously. So I'm not really in favor of taking veterinary medications. I would rather wait until one of these sponsors or affiliates produces something, because the injectable YK11 that I'm running right now from MA, it's basically pain-free. So, and that's just MCT oil. So yeah, I would definitely run it, but the dose, I don't know, maybe start with 100 milligrams per day, and then for 2 weeks. So you do like 2/5 of my recommendations at the highest level, right? If you're going to inject, you're probably a bodybuilder, you probably need higher dosages. So I would go, instead of 250 milligrams oral myonosyl tripyrophosphate, to 100 milligrams injectable myonosyl tripyrophosphate. That's every single day during the loading phase, 2 to 3 weeks, and then 3 times per week during the maintenance phase, sort of say, just to keep the hemoglobin affinity or the oxygen carrying capacity and the hemoglobin affinity going. Man, it's been a long day, too many consultations. Skull, I exactly mentioned that at the end of the video, so you posted this before you finished, which is fine. All posts help the algorithm, and I'll answer it nonetheless to make this video a little bit longer so I can put more ads. Hey Steve, how long should myonosyl tripyrophosphate be used after the loading phase? How long breaks in between? Oh, I didn't mention that. Sorry. By the way, what's your favorite brand of Pico 2? I'm looking to add it as you recommended. Thanks. I think I mentioned the brand of Pico 2 in the Endless Endurance video, and that was I think this Prima Force from that they sell in iHerb. So yeah, that's the one. Use my discount code, 5% off. So how long can you be using it? For as long as you want. I didn't see any adverse effects in scientific literature besides angiogenesis impairment, basically. So if you want to, let's say you do high volume, high rep leg days, right? And you want to create hypoxia to create angiogenesis locally, or you do hyperbaric chamber to really use all of these growth factors and get some sort of angiogenesis to really grow your legs or other weaker body parts, or use occlusion training, for example, then I would take it out. I think the beneficial effects were observed for 12 days in an animal model after they stopped minosyl tripyrophosphate administration, even though it's detectable for what, 24 hours, 36 hours, give or take. So it metabolizes very fast, but the oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin and the oxygen delivery to metabolically active tissues, I think that's a longer lasting effect for approximately 12 days or so. Again, animal model not proven in human studies. The human studies, again, are nowhere to be found, basically, besides that clinical trial. So yeah, I would just run it up until a point you need angiogenesis, and if you feel that a particular body part is starting to lag due to you can't stimulate hypoxia and vascular endothelial growth factor and angiogenesis, or using BBC 157, TB 500, what is it called, hyperbaric chambers or occlusion training for all of these growth factors, then I would take it out. But I ran it for quite a long time when it was still available on a previous website that no longer sells it. I think Science SB used to sell it. Unfortunately, I don't have it in stock anymore, but MA has. So that's where I used to get it from, and then I ran it for several months. Yeah, several months, and then I went out of stock and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I told MA, said, "Hey, add it to your product list. There's a deep dive coming, and let's generate some sales, bro." Unfortunately, nobody watches deep dive. Well, that's your loss, not mine. I'm getting all of the benefits as soon as I add in the myonosyl triphosphate again. And again, I answered after loading phase. How many weeks? Oh no, I didn't answer that. How many weeks after the loading phase should ITPP be used? I think you can run it for very long periods of time, but at one point it might be counterproductive to muscle growth. Let's see. So yeah, I'm hoping this covers conflicts with other compounds regarding angiogenesis. I've looked, but I can't find much information regarding how it conflicts with pro-angiogenesis compounds such as BPC 157, TB 500, or even epicatogen. So I discussed that, right? There's no scientific evidence comparing the efficacy of BPC 157 or TB 500 or cerbalison or other angiogenesis promoting compounds or methods. They just mentioned that the anti-cancer effects are coming through the reduction of angiogenesis, and then cancers who are dependent on angiogenesis for improved blood flow, and then actually go into remission, and the management of that cancer is a little bit easier. So that's where it's stemming from. So yes, I addressed it, but scientific evidence combination of BBC 157 and TB 500 with minosyl tripyrophosphate, it's nowhere to be found, unfortunately, right? Most of these compounds are researched solo, polypharmacy, that almost doesn't exist, man. It almost doesn't exist. I'm working on a GC1 soboterome deep dive, and I think there's like 3 studies comparing soboterome to what is it called? Atorvastatin, Lipitor. And that's it. That's it. A couple studies comparing soboterome to T3, right? Triiodothyronine or liothyronine, right? The medication. And that's it, man. Like, there's so much conjecture and dubious extrapolation that we have to do to really have a firm grasp on how these compounds interact and how they might have potential offsetting effect, reducing the efficacy of one compound and enhancing the efficacy of another compound. It's just all based on the scientific evidence and then understanding basic human biology and then drawing a conclusion. But direct scientific evidence, nowhere, dude. So I addressed it, but not to the extent that you would like or that I would like, because it's simply not there. Oh, here we go. I usually don't do this, but chelation is pronounced chelation, just for your information. All right, chelation it is going forward. Just like key lime pie, bro. Way easier to remember. So here, somebody says, Parsa Mosavat says, hey, Steve, I've seen your videos, or I've seen your sources and a few others, and it seems that they're all oral, which is true. I haven't seen any injectable myonosyl tripyrophosphate, but maybe MA is willing to blend it for us, which I know works fine as it has around 40% bioavailability. I did not find that anywhere in scientific evidence. And I asked him, where did you find that it has 40% bioavailability? I did not find that. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it, bro. But I was just wondering if you know any injectable, reputable injectable sources, for intramuscular use. Up until now, no. Up until now, no. So, but stay tuned. Maybe one day or another we'll get some injectable ITPP. Let's see, STS Chinese on tube. Chinese on tube. M2 is not cubic meter, it's cubic meter. Yeah, so it's, I know. The M3 is cubic. So sorry about that. I already made an apology, but I just couldn't find it. What's the source you recommend? MA, bro. Go to the website. Use your brain. All right. So here we have a negative review. Harp to Heart 69. Nice. I can be the only one who takes this and gets absolutely nothing from it. I got it from Steve's source as well. Maybe I'm not taking enough. Anybody care to elaborate? So I asked him what is the protocol. So the first 2 weeks, 250 milligrams per day, I'm assuming, and I'm running 500 milligrams per day. Notice nothing. Makes 0 sense. Yeah, it makes 0 sense. But it happens, man. Maybe your oxygen affinity and hemoglobin, capacity to transport oxygen around and remove metabolic waste products, including carbon dioxide, maybe that's already optimized. It happens. So hopefully you only bought one box or one bottle, one sachet, and if it doesn't work after 3 weeks, then just give it to your friends and ask them for a review, because I noticed dramatic changes, and I know a lot of people run MA ITPP and they notice dramatic changes after a couple days, especially after 2 to 3 weeks of 250 milligrams per day. So unfortunately, everybody's different, man. It happens. So again, if it doesn't work for you, just don't buy more. It's that simple. It's too expensive. If you don't get any benefits, just don't buy more of it. I've had it happen so many times where everybody's raving about it, like with SERMs, for example. Oh, Austrian is a shit. Okay, I'll buy one bottle. I got one bottle, I tried it, and I didn't like it, so I never touched it again. And it's the same with DNP, right? I bought some because everybody was raving about it. I got it from the Nitro, and I got way too hot. I didn't like it, so I never bought it. Actually, threw it in the trash and never looked at it again. So sometimes you got to experiment, and sometimes you get an adverse reaction, or sometimes you get a negative result. You get no results, you lose money. It's the nature of the game, man. Individual response. So it's sorry that it didn't work out for you, and maybe you need to look into EPO instead. You know, maybe that doesn't even work either, but you never know until you try. Ants Pants or Ants Anthony Barton. Let's see, the gold standard of delivery, good stuff. And another guy checking for sources, guys. Use your brain, man. So you're the reason why it's gone up in price. Now, actually, some of these compounds are really expensive. I was checking out a source list of one of the Chinese peptide websites, and then you see the GLP-1s are pretty cheap. Honestly, they're marked up really bad. And then you see like BAM15 or ITPP or some of the other compounds, MOTC, for example, SS31. Holy shit, man, that's really expensive. And then, of course, it needs to be transported from China to the USA or wherever they distribute from. And then it needs to be marked up, right? 10%, calculating the 10% discount that you use or that you get by using an affiliate's code. And then there are 10 to 20% commission on top of that. And then the company needs to make some money. So, yeah, by the time you see the price, it's like 2 or 3 or 4 times the price of what they pay in China. And otherwise, you have to buy bulk orders in China of the 100 plus, 200 plus, 500 plus list. So if you want to buy 500 plus items of myonosyl tripyrophosphate, then yes, you can get the price down and then you have a lifetime supply. It usually comes in powders, for these kinds of compounds. So you need a tablet presser or a capper to, get your 250 milligram dosages in. And then the last one, no one cares, work harder, Nandrolone video. I don't know why he keeps procrastinating on it. Because, I want to get all the videos done, which could drive affiliate sales. I'm not keeping this a secret. It just, these videos make money and Nandrolone Deep Dive does not. It's that simple, right? I have a kid on the way. I have bills to pay. Not that I'm financially insecure, but I would rather do the videos that generate some affiliate sales because you don't earn very much money on YouTube. A Nandrolone video will make maybe, or get maybe 20,000 to 30,000 views in a week or two. Won't be as popular as Trenbolone. That's not so many people use Nandrolone. So that maybe if I optimize the ads correctly, and now that the algorithm has changed a little bit with YouTube and AdSense and stuff, if I do the Nandrolone deep dive, it will take me 5 days to record. The script is like 80 pages long. It'll be thorough, man. I'll make maybe, let's say $200 to $300. For 5 days of full-time recording and editing. So yeah, this is why I keep procrastinating. There's more important videos that generate sales, like the Methylene Blue deep dive and Mod C. I mean, it generates a lot of sales. I'm gonna be fucking honest, but nobody, if I make the Nandrolone deep dive, it's not gonna generate so much sales, and then you don't earn so much money from AdSense. So it just gets pushed back. But the script is ready, man. The script is ready. I might have to reread it. And unfortunately, you bring something new to the table, like monoacyl tripyrphosphate, and nobody gives a shit. So at one point or another, it will get done. But I want to get DADA done first, Sobaterome done first, and maybe even SS31 done first, and then the BDNF deep dive and the methylene blue part 2 deep dive. Right? So there's at least 5, maybe 10 videos, and I have to make a YK11 deep dive, and then a follistatin 344 deep dive, right? Yeah, sorry, dudes. And if you want to speed it up, man, you know what to do, man. The Bitcoin link is down below. Send me a donation, and I'll think about it. All right, back to the chat. 60 people here. That's it. Nobody gives a shit about monoacyl tripyrphosphate, but that's all right. Zionic. Vigor Steve back in action, and we're talking monoacyl tripyrphosphate. Time to oxygenate our brains and our banter. Hell yes. This chat is about to get hyper aerobic, hyper anabolic as well. But it is Steve, I'm on Hawaii on vacation. We'll always stop by to hang out with you. I wish everybody was as loyal as you, man. Please get a pina colada from me, but you can finish it yourself. Hawaii, oh man, I would love to go there. So far though. Steve Allen, just a thought. In post-production, why not just flash on the screen square meters, not cubic meters? Yeah, I could have done that. Yeah, could have done that. These videos, they will never be perfect, man. You'll always have to see some mistakes, right? I see it on other YouTube channels as well. Sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. It's just the reality of it, man. And sometimes you get to like 95%, 98% correct, and then that last 2 to 5% would cost another 2 or 3 days of editing. And you're like, fuck it, man. Just throw it out there. Because you can just fix it easily with a 5-minute comment in the comment section, or spend 3 days on it to fix it, and that's not very. It happens. These videos are for free. If you paid for it, you get to complain, but they're free. So please be gentle. Right? Use some Astroglide. But yeah, I could have done that. Usually I tell my editor, take a clip and remove a cubic and replace it with square, but I didn't say square anywhere in the video. And I think I said it like 20 times. So imagine I could have recorded an audio clip, but I was already in Bali. So I could have recorded like square 15 times and then you would mix it in, but it would take a day, man. Yeah. So my bad. John Photos. I've seen this question now 6 times. Januvia, dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors. If you ask again, you're fucking out of here. Fuck, man. Some people just spam for no reason. I'm trying a monoacyl tripyrphosphate injection from Better Through Biology. I'm not certain if I see any benefits. How's the post-injection pain? I've heard some not so good reports. So please let me know. Let us know if you see any benefits after 2 to 3 weeks. How long have you been using it, Brandy Dandelion? Good to know that they have injectable version. Again, and I've heard some rumors of terrible post-injection pain, and that keeps me away. Ivermectin and Bendazole for cancer. You can research this. Yeah, yeah. I remember talking with AP, and he was like, "People keep asking me about ivermectin and Menbendazole." So I put it on the list. I said, "Hey, if people want to use that, then just sell it, man, because if it works, it works." I haven't really researched into it because again, this is not a channel that discusses anti-cancer methods. This discussion, or we discuss performance-enhancing drugs and staying healthy while using it. But if you get cancer, then yeah, it's something you would have to research into. I'm excited for this compound's future Gorilla Mind product. Technically, they could sell it, right? I told Derek to put Pico 2 in some of the pre-workouts, but he's like, man, it ruins the flavor. Well, so that was that. If anybody's curious, they call it Peak VO2, which contains 7 milligrams sodium bicarbonate, 50 milligrams DMG, 50 milligrams ITPP per 1 milliliter injection. 50 milligrams, 1 milliliter. 7 milligrams sodium bicarbonate, DMG. Is it dimethylglycine? I'll have to look into it. Super chat, completely unrelated, but you pay, so you get an answer. Hey, Steve, I've been using Tesamorelin 2 milligrams per day. Holy moly, that's a lot. You dropped down to 500 micrograms. 500 micrograms Ivermectin, dropped that down to 150 to 200 micrograms. 2 Use HGH per day. Has any benefits or is a waste of money? I would throw away the tesamorelin and ivermectin because if you take 2 IU's growth hormone per day, you literally create a negative feedback through elevated IGF-1 levels. And then it doesn't matter how much growth hormone secretagogues you're injecting, it's not going to promote any growth hormone secretion. So you're wasting a lot of money. And 2 milligrams tesamorelin and 500 micrograms ivermectin is probably more expensive than 2 IU's growth hormone per day. So finish that. Stop the growth hormone. Finish your growth hormone secretagogues. When your growth hormone secretagogues are finished, you switch back to 2 IU's growth hormone per day. And then whatever you were spending on a stack, you pivot all of that into growth hormone. So you can probably run 5 IU's of growth hormone per day. You're welcome. And then the next time you super chat me $100. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, guys, we're trying to stay on topic here. I know you guys are eager to ask questions, but that's what the Vigorous Q&A is for. And this is not a Vigorous Q&A shirt, bro. Jody says, I'm just here for you to show support. There you go. Did you guys like the live stream? That will be very, very nice. Jesse, I'm in Hawaii too, but I live here. You're a legend, Steve. Thanks for everything. So, Jesse, meet Buddy to Zeus and Kiss. It's just like a vigorous hookup, Jesse. If you're like a male with the name Jesse or a female with the name Jesse, it could be both, right? But hey, Buddha to Zeus. I mean, if you're Zeus, then you're a fucking Greek god, and you're Zen like Buddha. So hit each other up, man. Match made in heaven. Jesse, take buddy to Zeus to the volcanoes. Take him sightseeing. I'll get that pina colada for you. I'll take you on an IG story. All right. Fuck, I'm waiting. This is like 5 minutes ago. Let me go to IG. Have I been tagged already? No, not yet. Or it's lost in the flood of drug questions that I get on Vigorous Q&A. Dude, YouTube is not a source board, man. MA. Check out the website. Check out. I have a website. Use your fucking brain, please. Steve, did you ever see my comment about Science Hub 7 said to produce free and unrestricted access to all research by removing the paywall might help you save some money? Dude, literally every fucking citation below every deep dive is through Science Hub. Tell me you didn't read the citations without telling me you didn't read the citations. I'm not sure if you're already familiar. Go back 2 years, you'll see links to Science Hub on all their different fucking mirrors. But yeah, thanks for recommending it, bro. I'm well aware. I just want to say thank you. I've shared your videos with others. All right, that helps with the YouTube algo. I hope your wife and child are going to be healthy. God bless. Yeah, so far so good, man. Baby's healthy, doing well. I take it sub-Q, no post-injection pain, only use it 4 times, an initial energy boost, but only use it half milliliter, assuming dimethylglycine. Okay, so Brandy Dandelion, please, if you have no post-injection pain and no site irritation, please continue to use it for 3 more weeks or 2 more weeks, right? And by that time, you should be past the loading phase, but at 1 milliliter per day, because 1 milliliter you said contains, um, where's that post? Here you go, 50 milligrams ITTP per 1 ml. Yeah, and the dimethylglycine, okay, that's cute, but it's not going to do that much. And the 7 milligrams sodium bicarbonate, not really going to know what that's going to do. You need grams of sodium bicarbonate to have any kind of difference in lactic acid excretion or lactate excretion. All right, so please run 1 milliliter sub-Q per day and keep us posted. There you go. Steve says he's joking about sending him a big super chat, but he wants $10,000 non-refundable to review a business proposal. Well, yeah, it's a deterrent. So when you have close to 150,000 subscribers, I don't really have to justify myself, but I'll do it here anyway. For you, Moto Rocker, I get 5, maybe 10 business proposals per day, and most of it is garbage, and it's just completely unrelated to the channel. But sometimes you see something in there that might be relevant, or they want you to promote a bank which went bankrupt. Never promoted that bank. Or they want you to promote something like with discount coupons, which turned out to be a scam, or established titles. Remember that? All right, where they want you to promote where you can get some sort of land in Scotland of 10 square centimeters, and then you can call yourself a lord. I never promoted that either, and I get messages like this every fucking day, dude, multiple times per day, and I add them all to the spam filter and I delete that shit. So this is a deterrent. It's just a deterrent. It's in the auto reply. I get hundreds of these messages per day. Most of them I delete right away, so I don't even know if I get a reply. And then sometimes you get a reply and said, "Hey, listen, if you want me to review something for you, $10,000 non-refundable. Otherwise, I'm not interested because it takes me some time to review the product, take it here into Thailand. I might have to bribe somebody at customs to get it in. Like I got what is it called, the massage gun, right? Massage gun, some other stuff from Rainfall. Rainfall I was already promoting, so they never had to pay $10,000 because I wanted to try their product and was happy with the products that I already bought myself, right? Like the scale, for example, or some other products. So they just send me a couple products. I had to pay a little bit extra to get it imported here, unfortunately. So and I was happy with the products. I was happy to promote it, even though nobody uses those links down below, because those are Amazon links, right? You make maybe $50 a month. $50 a month. But this $10,000, it used to be $5,000. It's just a deterrent. So I don't have to, I don't even have to wait for those 5 to 10 business proposals that I get on this every single day. People want me to promote all kinds of shit for them. And if you want to see what a sellout looks like, just go to Screen Crush. Screen Crush is a YouTube channel that reviews Marvel movies and whatever's popular basically. And they mix and match all kinds of bullshit advertisement in there that's completely unrelated to the topic. Um, and they make maybe a couple $1,000s per advertisement, which is fine if you want to do that, right? Money talks, but I don't want this YouTube channel to turn into that. So if you're 100% sure that you will get an ROI, then you'll gladly pay $10,000 to be endorsed by me on this YouTube channel, because I generate hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales for my affiliates every single month. So $10,000 is nothing. So, but if $10,000 is something that you have to work 3 months for as an employer, or if you're employed, then yeah, of course, it seems like a large amount of money, but it's just business, man. So hope you learned something. You learned something, but business is business, man. Hopefully, at one point you'll be able to set your prices this fucking high too, and then sometimes you get it. And if I get it twice a year, I win, man. $20,000 in my pocket. I have a body of a buddy, but it's turning into Zeus. There you go. It's only 7:38 a.m. We'll take you later when I head out for a drink. All right, man. Tag me later. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Mother Rocker, can you give me a link for whatever website? I'm new here. Just if you found the $10,000, then you can find the MA website as well. And I can't mention it here because YouTube is not a source port, and you literally get your channel deleted. So if you want me to get my channel deleted, then just keep asking. If you're new here, but you already know about the $10,000, then no, man. Taylor, I know a few pro athlete doctors who had their athletes take ITPP, but I never heard from any of the athletes actually mention it. Why would you give away the secrets, bro? Lots of microdose growth hormone. Yeah, that's being done. This was an endurance sports. Yeah, so a lot of guys, they like all the endurance guys I know, man. ITPP, EPO, Meldronet, ICAR, or ICAR, right? Not together. And then fucking blasting their socks off. And they're like, what do you take? I take creatine. Endurance athletes are worse than bodybuilders. Instagram bodybuilders claim that they're natural. I'm type 1 diabetic. I only take insulin. Sure. Sure, bro. Athletes are, and it's fine. And if you compete in drug tested sports, why would you give, like if you're using minoxidil triphosphate, you're probably also using something else. You're probably using the entire kitchen sink. So it's, yeah, people just keep their edge for themselves. I would do the same if I was a competitive athlete. Like, imagine if you're backstage and you go to all the other Olympia competitors, you see, hey, bro, it really made a difference. Like after you won the show, bro, it really makes a difference. Injectable YK11, bro. Just look at the shit. Look at these fucking cannons. And then next year, everybody runs, just an example, right? Everybody's running injectable YK11, and then you get beaten. Don't give away the secrets in competitive sports, man. Zionic, no worries about all the mistakes, Steve. You're always quick to correct things, and that's what matters. We're all human, and your info is always top tier regardless. Yeah, if I make a mistake, I'm happy to correct it. Because, well, even me, I'm only human. Even though some of you guys put me on the pedestal, which you shouldn't be doing. I'm flawed just like everybody else. And I'm fucking flawed in some things. I'm very good at hiding it. Hey Steve, 22 years old, low testosterone, and clomiphene under clinic supervision, tested and estradiol were top of the reference range, but despite this prolactin spiked to 86. Yeah, so that's a side effect of estradiol or selective estrogen receptor modulators being taken. Would HG monotherapy be the next thing to try before TRT? I guess, but that could also spike your prolactin. So maybe you're deficient in dopamine, which is a suppressive on prolactin secretion. So maybe stay on enclomiphene to get this prolactin under control for next 2 weeks. You only need 2 weeks to get your prolactin under control if you supplement with 500 milligrams L-tyrosine and 25 milligrams vitamin B6, B5P, maybe 3 to 4 times per day. So that's 1,000 milligrams L-tyrosine and maybe 100 milligrams vitamin B6, B5P. The peroxisome 5, P5P. I forgot what it stands for. My bad. So that will increase the conversion of L-tyrosine downstream to dopamine, and that will have a suppressive effect on your prolactin levels. If that doesn't make a difference, you could try a single serving of cabergoline, like 1/4 milligrams, so that's 0.25 milligrams cabergoline. That might increase your heart rate because it really works on your heart, right? Increasing, dopaminergic signaling, because it's basically like a dopamine receptor agonist, or that's what it is. So it doesn't increase dopamine levels, but it works on the same receptors. So instead of increasing your dopamine levels with L-tyrosine and vitamin B6, B5P, you just activate the receptor with a low dose cabergoline. That should bring your prolactin down. And then without changing too many variables, you already have a solution in place, switching from enclomiphene to HCG in case your prolactin goes up again. Because I feel that HCG monotherapy is more sustainable than enclomiphene monotherapy due to the blood clots and side effects, emotional disturbances, and in this case, elevated prolactin. But that can still occur in HCG monotherapy and even in testosterone replacement therapy. But I think it's less likely. Let's say it's more likely that Prolactin will be 86, like out of the reference range on enclomiphene, and then it might be half on HCG monotherapy for the same level of testosterone and estradiol, and it might be even lower to, let's say, 7 to 12. So that's within the reference range, assuming we're talking about the same reference range on TRT. Right? And like enclomiphene makes you feel a little bit weird, but not as bad as Clomid. But HCG monotherapy, man, like massive loads. Yeah, good shit. Uh, Even Jay Cutler uses a lore. Yeah, but Jay Cutler he promote like I watch all of his podcasts because I like Jay and and I like Milos and all the guests that he has on. So Jay promotes the gym, right? The uh what's it called? The Fit Club, right? I've been there. It's a great gym, so that's relevant to the YouTube channel. He promotes TRT Kingdom, his TRT company, which is relevant to the TRT to his YouTube channel. I mean, Jay's been opening up about steroids quite a bit recently, and Milos really gets him to open up, which is great. And then the lawyer, yeah, that is irrelevant, right, to the channel. But he's in Vegas, and he probably knows his lawyer, and he probably gets a kickback. And having a little bit of the Celsius or bucked up or whatever, that's just all branding. That's part of the fitness industry, but like you see a lot of branding that's just irrelevant to the topic at hand, and that annoys the fuck out of me. And I get hundreds of these proposals every single time. I just ignore it because I don't need the money. Right? I put my money into Bitcoin. I trade it intelligently, and then $10,000 is just a blink of the eye. So I only promote things that I believe in. Some guys say that it doesn't work. It works for some people. So again, like I mentioned on Instagram, if you see me make a deep dive on BAM 15, DNP, or non-steroidal SERMs like Austrian Rad 140, then it's a top signal. Then it's time for you to unsubscribe. But then you know that I sold out. But yeah, until that time comes, just keep watching and enjoy the ride, man. Just giving you a hard time, Steve. I'm an entrepreneur my entire life. Totally respect the hustle. Yeah, fuck you too, asshole. Fuck you, Moto Rocker. Uh, just follow the website, man. You should be able to find it. I even in the Control F list, I mentioned what the abbreviation MA stands for, and you should be able to follow the links. Maybe I didn't index ITPP, but I'm sure you can follow the sources. You know, what do you take? 200 grams of carbs an hour. And do you see what's his name? Uh, Sazerati is he's taking like 400 grams of carbs per meal, 200 grams of honey, 100 grams of carbs from rice, and then some cinnamon and eggs. This guy's a fucking beast, man. I wish I could do that, but yeah, on the four like hyperglycemic, then hypoglycemic, and then I start snoring. If I wake up, that's really that's a different story. Let's see. Trevstar, as a competitive cyclist, I really appreciate the latest deep dives. Great work as always. See, so somebody's benefiting from the ITPPs. Um, Good stuff. The waterproof stacks have always been a fun watch from an endurance standpoint. Anyway, yeah, I love making those. But the next time I do it, I'm just going to make an addendum live stream because that previous water deep dive was what 2 hours, and it got my channel deleted. Got it back though, 4 days. Must be a new record. That took Mark Bell 2 weeks, and Think Big Bodybuilding 2 weeks. I got it back in 4 days, man. Somebody at YouTube loves me. Steven, in your experience, is it better to go to a sauna with hot Germans or hot German girls, or go to the shower with black men? I'm okay. Talking about dudes. I read in the paper that increases testosterone and helps you get an erection. What to do? I don't think Germans are hot, and I don't think black men are hot. Um, yeah, black women though, that's a different story. I don't know, man. How about you go to the sauna or the shower without any dudes, and let's see if that increases your testosterone level. All right, this is a question for bro chat, not for the Vigorous Q&A or addendum live streams. All right, guys, I think with that we probably have to close it off. All right, if we get into the dick jokes. Steve, I can totally understand how things like an under live deep what would not directly bring in sales, but it will bring in more viewers and subscribers, which will eventually lead to more sales. Just a thought. What do you mean a live stream like this? Under live deep dive? How things like an hmm. Okay. I mean, it's not directly about increasing sales, but it helps. And it helps. So I try to have a balanced approach. Like next week, we'll have all of the trembolone case reports, scientific evidence. That's a 50-minute video. That will not generate any sales, obviously. And well, it's cerebrolysin. I kind of got fucked in the ass there, right? You release a cerebrolysin deep dive, and then they take it off the market. What the fuck, man? And the BDNF, the deep dive will not. So I try to have a balanced approach. But yeah, the Nandrolone video, it's 80 pages, man. It's 80 pages of notes, and it will probably be 85 pages long. And I know I need about one day for 15 to 20 pages to go. That's with overlays and scripting and that kind of stuff. So if it's 85 pages, I think it's like 5 days of recording, and it just gives me anxiety, man. I'll sit there for like 2.5 hours, stumbling over my words, um, you know, and then I have to. My wife will pre-edit. I'll send it to the editor. By the time we're done, we're like an hour, 20 minutes video in, or maybe 1.5 hours. Like that. The what was it called? The like this I would cut out, right? All dumb stuff like that shit I would cut out, obviously, so it looks a little bit more streamlined. Like now you get the raw Vigorous Steve with all the mistakes included. But for the fertility video that ended up 2.5 hours long. Took me days to record that shit, man. My editor was working on that for 10 days. 10 fucking days. Somebody had to do it. So yeah, Nandrolone videos pending, man. Trying to get diagnosed with low testosterone levels to get a script, but taking tristolone instead, in the meantime, be all right to still show low testosterone levels on the panel. I have a video on how to get a script. So long story short, it doesn't matter what you take. You just need to get low test levels. So you can either stop sleeping for a week, that will crush your serum testosterone levels. You can either do one shot of tristolone, or one shot of trembolone, or one shot of testosterone, which, in many cases is enough to bring your estrogen, your testosterone estrogen down. You can take the morning after pill, or you can take ethinyl estradiol injections. It's just about raising your estrogenic burden, which will shut down your LH or FSH for long enough for testosterone and estradiol to come down. And then if you time that correctly, maybe 2 weeks after the injection, LH, FSH, testosterone, estradiol is all metabolized and low enough to the point where you look androgen deficient, and then you go get your script, right? And you do blood work out of pocket first to kind of confirm that testosterone is like 200 nanograms per deciliter, and estradiol is like 10 picograms per milliliter, and LH and FSH is like 1.5 or 2 or maybe 3 milliamps per milliliter, and the doctor's like, holy shit, let's get this guy some fucking testosterone. Or you don't give a fuck and you just do it yourself. Right? I know that a script in Canada, but even in Canada, it's difficult to get TRT, man. I know getting a script puts your mind at ease, but in Canada, I don't think it's such a felony to be on testosterone, man. And it's easy to acquire. Testosterone is easy to acquire. So if it's too much work to get a script, and you have to go into the hospital all the time, and the dialing in process, and they start you off at 150 milligrams per week, but you really want a little bit more, just do it yourself, man. Just do it yourself. That's what I did. I got a script too, but I don't even know why I keep extending it. In all respect, I can understand how videos like the Nandrolone deep dive would not bring in sales, but it will bring in viewers and more subscribers. Yeah, I know it will. Yeah, I know it will. I know it will be done. It just, I get anxiety looking at the notes. So, and it just a little like the GC1 Sobotrome videos, like 30 pages with all the overlays and the scripting, and that will take me like 2 days to record. Hey, Mark, we're just talking about you, bro. I said it took you what, 2 weeks to get your channel back after you promoted the gray area peptide website, and after I talked shit about WADA, it took me only 4 days to get my channel back. So, YouTube loves us. Can't go YouTube, we can't go without Mark Bell and the Power Project and Vigorous Steve on YouTube. This is a blasphemy. The fucking algorithm took him down. I got to put him back. Uh, 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 uh. Dr. Brendan Campbell give testosterone scripts. All right, in Canada, cool. Yeah, we got the best fans, man. I think if you harass YouTube just strongly enough, then they're like, "Oh shit, you got to put this guy back because otherwise we get review bombed." Yeah, thank God we got our channel back, man. I felt relieved. I'm gonna be honest. Like I was at the Enhanced Games, the seminar in the UK, and then I arrived on Friday. The video went live Friday evening, or was it or Saturday or something? I don't know. Like the video went live on a Thursday or something, and then Friday I was there, it was live, and then Saturday morning I woke up and my channel was gone, and I had like 500 messages, and it's like, you know what? It means I can retire. I didn't feel too bad. And then later in the day, of course, you start to realize like, oh, that work. It's such a shame. And then I'm gonna upload it to Rumble and all these other websites which I'm doing right now. That will be live soon. But I honestly I felt a little bit relieved. Like, now I can just focus on me. But I got the channel back. So here we are doing more deep dives, being very careful what I say. Yeah, so I can't say AA or MA or SB, CN, all these abbreviations. 24, fuck man, makes it difficult. All right, from watching products go out of stock, I'm pretty sure Steve's video. Yeah, 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 it happens. It happens. But I'm not gonna ask like three affiliates like, hey, do you have enough in stock? Because sometimes it sells out even if I have 500 items. You know. And again, I'm not the only one talking about this. Like with MA, you got Chase, you got Ben Chow, you got Elliot Dermont, you got like MA has a boatload of affiliates, and they all talk about various products that they sell. So if Chase talks about Retrotide, imagine how many sales he generates, whether that's for his own company or for MA or some of his other affiliates. And same for Ben Chow or Elliot Dermont or bodybuilding for biohacking for you. All these guys, they when you talk about it, you generate sales. That's just you know that's how influencing works. I try to keep it real with you guys though. It's try to give you good information. Unlike those guys on Instagram, and I said, "Yeah, just take Retrotide 5 milligrams 3 times a week, bro, a whole vial," and then they watch the sales go up. At least I keep it legit. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it for today. So let's wrap it up here. Again, I think myonosyl triphosphate is incredibly slept on. I think it's a game changer for bodybuilders and endurance athletes or MMA fighters or fighters in general. I think everybody should run this compound or at least watch a deep dive and look into it because it makes a world of difference. It really makes a world of difference for posing, for training, for endurance, everything. I'd imagine for all the guys, this is the last unique selling point, right? If you're on Trembolone and you're fucking really hard, and then when you're almost there, but you're also fucking out of breath, so you can't fuck while you're out of breath, so you can't come. That's the worst feeling ever, right? Like, yeah, fuck, I'm almost there, but I can't because my heart's pounding and I can't breathe. Minosyl triphosphate, whether that's in combination with methylene blue or not, those two will allow you to fuck on trend for days. And I know everybody loves the trembolone sandwich, so this is your incentive to run a low dose trend to get all of the benefits, and a high dose during the loading phase, minosyl triphosphate and a low dose methylene blue, and then you can fuck for days, dude. And with that, this live stream is done. I'll see you guys Saturday on the Vigorous Q&A. Yes, I'm back. There's already a boatload of comments or questions asked, so we're going to go through it fast and discuss a little bit my Bali holiday because my Bali holiday was absolutely fantastic, and I wish I never had to leave. But after 1 week, I was already getting chunky, and then you have to go back to business, right? So I'll see you guys on Saturday, and then next week we'll go right back to the regular programming of deep dives and high quality content because these live streams, I mean, sloppy as fuck. All right, see you guys soon.